Last weekend, President Biden gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom to U2's Bono. The Presidential Medal of Freedom is given to individuals who have contributed to American national interests or world peace, and of course to Bono. In a world that universally hates Morrissey, Bono rarely gets the scorn that he deserves. So here's 5 main reasons why Bono is an utterly dreadful turnip. 1, his anger towards Palestinians. At a concert last autumn, just after October the 7th, he launched into In the Name of Love. But just before that, he said, in the light of what's happened in Israel and Gaza, a song about non-violence seems somewhat ridiculous, even laughable. But our prayers have always been for peace and non-violence. But our hearts and our anger, you know where that's pointed. Now you could say that Bono was being moderate here in a way. I mean, I agree that there needed to be some kind of response to October the 7th, but I don't think it's cool to claim the mantle of pacifism and then to finger the one side that he hates before standing by and watching his mates complete a genocide. Bono, incidentally, has now made more money from Israel than he has from music. And these investments include things like hotels and apps, forming a substantial chunk of his $700 million fortune, according to Forbes. Now, every man, woman and child in Gaza is homeless or injured or dead. And that's what happens, I think, when one of the world's richest pop stars points his anger. It's a shame, because In the Name of Love was a cracking tune, wasn't it? Number 2, his support for war criminals. Bono has always been close throughout this century to figures like Tony Blair, George W. Bush, even Henry Kissinger. He invited Tony Blair into his home. He called Tony Blair and his Deputy Prime Minister Gordon Brown the Lennon and McCartney of international development. Okay. Number 3, his advocating war on Russia. Bono did a poem comparing Ukrainian President Zelensky to St. Patrick driving out the snakes. It was widely mocked, rightly, for its lack of substance, with some calling it unhinged and literally the worst poem ever written. Nancy Pelosi, incidentally, loved it, saying that Bono is a very Irish part of our lives. He also supported the Turkey's occupation of Syria, praising Turkey's handling of Syrian refugees during a visit with the Prime Minister in 2016. Weeks later, Turkey invaded and occupied parts of Syria, and this has led ultimately to basically ISIS-style terrorists taking Damascus. Maybe not the worst thing that he's done, but it's an area that, again, Bono intervening on the side of American imperialists, and without seeming to have any checks or balances in that respect. Number 5, corporate shilling. Bono has explicitly said he's a convert to entrepreneurial capitalism. He has helped raise loads of money for AIDS, working within that system, but seems completely unconcerned by the compromises that he's ended up taking. He worked with Lawrence Summers, known for worsening global inequality, and for this famous Summers memo, which advocated dumping toxic waste in Africa. Similarly, Bono's One Camp supported a G8-backed initiative criticised for enabling land grabs in Africa and for fostering dependence on companies like Monsanto through GMO products. He also did that annoying thing with iPods, didn't he? And I think, didn't he once leave his hat at home and sent it out to the gig first class on its own seat? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, you're not helping anyone, Bono. Have you noticed that when you got involved in world politics, things just got worse? Well, I suppose I could say the same for me. Anyway, in a world that hates Morrissey, hate Bono. And Bono, just stop it. You ruined Joshua Tree.